Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to get started. Good evening. My name is Dan Bates. I'm President and CEO of the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and we are thrilled that you all could join us tonight for State of the City. We were trying to do research on how long we've been doing this event, and we couldn't nail that down. So for decades, we've been doing this event, which we're always thrilled to give the city manager and our mayor an opportunity to update you on what has been happening and what's about to happen in the city. So with that, I want to make a couple announcements. The screens, we have screens on both sides. If you would like to follow along more closely with the presentation, you can follow along on Facebook Live with both the Chamber's website and TV Hamilton. So TV Hamilton is broadcasting tonight if you want to see the PowerPoint a little more closely. I want to recognize our event sponsors tonight. The presenting sponsor is Fort Hamilton Hospital. You'll be hearing from them later. And our community sponsor is Telhaya. Without the two of them, we would not be able to do this event tonight, so thank you. We want this evening to be informative, but friendly and casual. So the bars will remain open during the entire event, so please feel free, even during the presentations, to get up. Obviously, there's wide aisles with social distancing, so feel free to help yourself to a drink during the program. I'm really excited tonight because of the space that we're in. You know, when the murals went up, and that's what art is about, art forces you to see things differently. We began to look at this space and thought it would be perfect to do kind of an urban funk theme tonight with the music and under the parking garage and taking advantage of beautiful Rotary Park. So in a moment, you're going to hear from David Stark, who's going to talk more about the murals. But we are excited to be here. We're excited to be in this space, and please enjoy the art during the whole presentation. I also want to thank one more sponsor, and that is Molson Coors. That's how you have free beer tonight, so they're another sponsor. So thank you to Molson Coors. When we found out that we were going to be able to do the event here, reached out to David Stark, and I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to partner with ArtSpace. And he has some people to recognize and a presentation. And now I turn it over to David Stark, who's the Community Director for ArtSpace. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? No? Maybe up here? Okay. Should I kneel down? Or we? Okay. All right, everyone. I am David Stark of ArtSpace Hamilton Lofts and the Strauss Gallery and Gift Shop. And I am here tonight to dedicate the Strauss Market murals. 6 weeks ago, 10 different lead artists with 10 different designs and styles completed 250 feet wide by 7 feet high of murals, all over the course of just one weekend. Now, you can already tell from the styles that we had a lot of different artistry from backgrounds involved, but all of them had just one thing in common. Each of the murals are united by this, the color orange. Now, we see a lot of selfies taken out here. I love how accessible they are. But if we've received one comment more than any others, it's this: why orange? Were they having a sale on orange that day? Well, yes, actually, they might have been. But actually, this area needed to turn from drab to fab, and the orange made it pop. Also, I'm sure I've seen that exact same shade of orange in some of those beautiful, majestic Hamilton sunsets that we enjoy for more than half a year. But there was also something in the name of the color of orange that also spoke to us. It's titled Obstinate Orange. Now, all the artists who are here with us tonight know that sometimes you got to be a little bit obstinate with your art. Whether you're speaking for power or to power or something else, it takes that grit. Sometimes we have to be a bit obstinate in our defense of the arts. I'm thinking of you right now, Ian McKenzie Thurley, and the rest of the team at the Fitton for how you're digging your heels in and determinedly finding new ways to keep the arts alive even during this time. But even beyond the arts, There's something about the city of Hamilton and its history that is also obstinate. Imagine for a minute you were one of those original soldiers at that fort on that river in the middle of the first cold winter. It took a little obstinance to settle into this valley. And then think about those in industry. Think of our manufacturing and how at times over the course of the 20th and 19th century, we had to obstinately defy state and federal regulations to let this place take off and become what it would. And then there's that whole gangster era, that little Chicago, about 100 years. Well, we know some of those guys were nothing but obstinate. But then here recently, fast forward to us, over the past 10 to 15 years, our own revitalization. Many of you who are here tonight were part of some of those original conversations built on obstinance that said this town is not worth giving up on. We're not going to let it fade or rust away into history. We're going to compete. We're going to do our part to make it a shining city on a hill, a city of brilliance, a city of hope, of optimism, of opportunity, prosperity, welcomeness, and hopefully most of all, as a city of peace. It's more than just muralists who are here tonight representing that artistic, obstinate valor. All right, so with any further ado, I would like to recognize the muralist who completed this incredible work. Artists, when I call your name and the title of your work, would you please stand and remain standing until the end so that we can all recognize and applaud you at once. Okay, beginning from your left to right, on the very end there we have Three Little Birds by David Rickard. David, thank you for the reminder that it's all going to be all right. Next we have Eventually Sand, where Wave Meets Rock by David Jonathan Yu. Now, David, you may recognize David's work. He's the same guy who tagged up all the art space building tonight in the Where's Waldo street graffiti of Hamilton phrases and landmarks. All right, we want to applaud now. All right, next we have Doncha Dora, the cleverly titled Doncha Dora by Ben Kazmarek. And then here, Inspiration by Lance Miller and Amber Bay. Just behind us tonight, we have our second MC for the evening, none other than the sketchy pigeon himself. At some point, you will have to look deep in these pigeons' eyes and come to peace. All right, this was the impetus behind the whole project, and it's by none other than the one and only Logan Walden. Please stand, Logan. Remain standing, thank you. On the other side of our trellises here, we have Kinetic Connection by Joshua Morrow and Anya Spinazzola. Not only did Josh design and complete a mural, but he also added a sculpture. It's here with us tonight. It's called Always in All Ways, and soon it'll be adorning the Artist Alley, the area with the string lights and the signage. Thank you, Josh. Also included is I Walk These Streets with My Head in a Fishbowl by Brian Beck, as well as Mind Over Body by Scott Hubbard of the Almond Sisters Bakery. Second to last, we have Melissa Lucid and Chris McCall's Hamilton's Future Cityscape. And on the very end, we have the Lion and Lamb of Peace by Danielle Martin. Patrick Davis of the soon opening Fringe Coffee House, along with Logan Walden, were also co-leaders of this project. A project that was made possible because of generous grants from 17 Strong. Artist, what you did is amazing. Sometimes I hate you because I ain't you, because you're a ridiculous level of talents. And the fact that you did it in one weekend is unheard of. Please, Hamilton, join me in applauding these muralists. Thank you.
David's a little taller than I am. Thank you, David. And next, On the agenda, the person you're waiting to hear from is our city manager, who I am so honored and thrilled to know and be able to partner with on a lot of things through the Chamber of Commerce in the city. So Joshua, you're up next, our city manager, Joshua Smith.
Good evening, Hamilton. There we go. So it's been a busy week this week. As City Council will tell you, we had a neighborhood meeting for Corwin Avenue and Lindenwold on Monday night. On Tuesday night, we were over at the Spooky Nook Project. Sam Byler and his team were doing a cookout for the area neighbors, essentially to thank them for putting up with the traffic and the dust and the noise. Last night, we were in 2nd Ward on Grant Circle doing a neighborhood cookout at former Councilman Johnson's house. But the reason I bring that up, it's such a great time to be in Hamilton. Tonight, we have the State of the City address under a parking garage. We have a concert that kicks off in about 45 minutes at River's Edge. I'm sure Municipal Brew Works is packed as they always are, but it's just a lot of energy in Hamilton. As I normally do, I like to start off with some thank yous before we get into the heart of the talk. First and foremost, thank you to Mayor Pat Moeller and all members of council for doing a tremendous job and coming to work every single day with a single objective, which is to make the residents and the businesses better in Hamilton. Thank you to our city employees who have done a great job in a time of a pandemic. I want to thank the school districts, both Baden and Hamilton City Schools. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a teacher, an administrator right now with all the unknown that's happening. From what I've seen and what I've heard, they've done a tremendous job. Congratulations. I saw Big Blue got a good ranking going into the playoffs. Good luck in your first round game. Baden is undefeated in football this year, so they're doing great. Thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for all the effort, not only in putting this event on tonight, but what they've been doing to assist with our small business community in a time of pandemic. We're going to touch on that in a little bit. Oh, my favorite photo, Thommy Long. Look at that. You'll see Thommy later tonight when he receives his Small Business Person Award, but I wrote Thommy a letter yesterday. You probably haven't received it yet, but it's very impressive that a business that I'm sure is uncertain, like all the other businesses in the time of a pandemic, to give free services to so many different small businesses in Hamilton. So that, again, I think that deserves another round of applause. So thank you, Thommy, for everything you've done for Hamilton. And really, with all the uncertainty and all the issues we've had the last 6 months about being indoors, you know, a special shout out to Steve Timmer. I see Audrey and her husband are here tonight. But everything they've done with the parks has been tremendous. And thank God for having the Parks Conservancy in a time like this where we can go outside when things are not being allowed indoors. Adam Hilms and the concert series, we're one of the few concert venues that are still going strong, and I want to give him credit for coming up with so many creative ideas. Paul Hilms, my friend from Wisconsin, Adam's dad, is here tonight with us also. I don't know why he's at the State of the City, not the concert, but Paul, thanks for being here tonight. And thank you to Adam for all that. Finally, thanks to my wife, my family, my friends that put up with the crazy schedule all year, every year. My wife's like, we have to go to another thing tonight, but here she is again tonight. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure if she's going to come, but thank you. All right, COVID-19. Obviously, I mean, that's front and center what we've been dealing with in 2020, so I want to tackle that one head on. Our health department has done yeoman's work this year in really trying to be as creative as possible and making sure that while there are many restrictions being passed down, especially through the state government, that we are allowing events like this to happen. So to Kay Farrar and the entire health team, you know, thank you for that. But I specifically want to call out these 10 individuals that are on the screen right now. when Henry Ford II took over Ford Motor Company in 1946 from his grandfather, he hired what he called 10 whiz kids to come in from the Air Force and help reimagine the Ford Motor Company. The 10 people on here, I like to call them our whiz kids. I mean, Dan Bates may not be a kid category anymore, but 9 whiz kids and Dan Bates, who's also a whiz. But what they have done has been pretty incredible. They created what we call the Rapid Restart Team. So this group was assembled in very early April, within the first month of the pandemic, understanding that we were going to have challenges with our small businesses, with the residents, what was going to feel normal because no one knew what was happening. And some of the items that you see on the screen there these are all ideas that these 10 individuals came up with. The gift card program that helped many of our small businesses out well before some of the PPP was being issued by the federal government. Our first annual Hamilton Restaurant Week was launched in May of this year. It's something that we're going to be doing in the future. The outdoor seating, the painting of the alleys, anything we could do to make the outdoor more inviting so we could keep our restaurants open. Because at a time when a lot of restaurants across the United States are closed, as many of them closed permanently, our restaurants quickly adapted to carry out, take out, DoorDash, Uber Eats, eating outdoors. But special thank you to all the restaurants in Hamilton, because I know that I use many of them. I'm sure many of you in this room did also. The other thing they came up with was the 10-minute max curbside Hamilton. We're going to keep this going in the future. It was so popular. Our restaurants liked it so much. It allows people to pull up, be able to get in and out and help them, but also help our consumers get to our restaurants a lot easier than maybe in the past. Hamazon. That was our play on Amazon, but it was another way to get our non-restaurant small businesses an opportunity to sell their goods, to get pushed out there during a time when you can only have a few individuals inside of a bricks and mortar store. Takeout Tuesdays. Again, it's been an emphasis to really focus on the restaurants on getting Takeout Tuesday. One that you may have not have heard about yet. Holly Jolly Hamilton, Not So Silent Nights. You're going to hear more and more about that in the coming weeks and months. Journey Borealis, you may have seen something about that, but if you're a Hamilton resident, you will have free access to Pyramid Hill light show, the holiday light show, every Tuesday once they open through the end of the holiday season. If anyone has an idea for this group, the Rapid Restart Team, I'll leave that up for a moment. Please send them an email. They are looking to be as creative as possible, and as a consumer or a small business owner, you may have ideas that they simply have not thought of yet. I would encourage you to reach out to them. So when thinking about the theme of tonight's State of the City address, the one thing that really resonated, especially after watching the presidential debate, or parts of the presidential debate, I couldn't watch all of it, but was even during these uncertain times, we have to forge ahead. We have to get things done. And 80 Acres, I know that you've seen them, I'm sure, in the news in the last year or so, but for those of you that have not seen their office space, they are located in the city building downtown. This is a photo we took this afternoon. This actually used to be the floor that my office was on. My former office is now the office of the president and CEO, Mike Zelkin, for 80 Acres. But they spent over $1 million and created new office space on the 7th floor of our building. They are in the process of having a ribbon cutting to acknowledge their new indoor farm that is under construction, their indoor vertical farm at Hamilton Enterprise Park. But some of the things you may not be aware of with the space they've redone in downtown, where they also have a small vertical operation on South 2nd Street. Infinite Acres, their joint venture, has taken up space in Hamilton. And the thing I find really the best part of why that we love having them here, they are bringing over a lot of their joint venture partners from Europe. And I'm seeing guys from Norway jogging down the street one day. You see people from Amsterdam eating at High Street Cafe. It's just so cool to see that type of energy in the downtown. And 80 Acres is, I mean, they're doing some amazing things. And for those of you that did not see the article, they actually have a display at the Guggenheim Museum currently in New York City. I mean, so they're getting some incredible national recognition, international recognition. So really love the fact that they have continued to grow. A photo here is Salvagnini, which is an Italian company that's just on the east side of Bypass 4 in Hamilton. This is their new showroom. This this project was just completed in the past month. But again, they are bringing in clients from around the world, mostly from Europe and North America and South America, to this showroom in Hamilton, Ohio. Influx, which is wholly owned by Procter & Gamble, continues to do great things. They're actually located very close to where Salvagnini is, out at the intersection of Bypass 4 and Sims Road. And I want to stop here for a second. This is an aerial photo of the Spooky Nook Champion Sports Complex, which was taken in the last 10 days or so. And when you look at the amount of steel that they're putting in, it's just nothing short of amazing. As you can see, it's more than a sports complex. People will say, how's the sports complex coming along? And I always stop them. I'm like, it is not a sports complex. It is a mixed-use development that has hotel, convention space, restaurants, indoor, outdoor sports. But it's just, I know Sam and his team are somewhere out in the crowd tonight. Maybe a round of applause for them for putting a $145 million investment in Hamilton, Ohio. Putting in an investment in when the pandemic first hit, they still had the ability to say no and go a different direction, and they did not do that. They forged ahead, and that is why this State of the City is so special for me tonight. Small businesses, big businesses alike, there were so many opportunities to throw in the towel and stop. No one did. They kept going, so that is just awesome. So what's very unique about that also is while Sam is taking an old paper company that was in our community for 100+ years and converting it into the mixed-use development, at the same time, SECA is having a groundbreaking about 2 weeks from tonight in our industrial park. So for the people that were so upset about losing 150 years worth of paper making in Hamilton, Ohio, SECA is one of the fastest growing paper manufacturers in the world. They're doing corrugated boxes in Hamilton, but they compete with international paper and they compete with the big boys across the globe. Their footprint is growing exponentially from starting as a company in Spain in the 1940s. They now have a facility in almost every Western European country, and we are their first construction in North America. I had lunch with them last week. It's exciting. And the building that you see there, that represents over a $65 million investment in Hamilton, Ohio. So again, I mean, the investment it keeps pouring in, but the credit goes to these companies. But you can't talk about the large companies without talking about the small companies. Why? Because without the restaurants and the small businesses, the large companies, they don't look at Hamilton. You know, for so long they look somewhere else because companies want to build their space where their employees have amenities. And if you're a city that has no restaurants, you have no small businesses, you have no soul, they're going to go by you. But I will be the first to tell you that when a company comes in, I take them to our restaurants, I take them through Sarah's house, I take them through the small businesses, and then I tell them, oh, by the way, if your employees are into soccer, rock climbing, lacrosse, basketball, volleyball, whatever it is, we're building a $145 million mixed-use sports development right on the other side of the river. They'll have whatever they want, and that is a huge selling point. I don't know if Brad Baker is with us from Pinball Garage tonight. I don't know if anyone saw, but he has been so successful. He's already talking about his next expansion, but yes. I will say that I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee about 5 years ago, and I went to their version of the Pinball Garage, and his is that much better than theirs, and theirs was packed. So, I mean, again, these are the type of amenities that we need in Hamilton that make us unique and make us, you know, what we are becoming. Chicken cone, I've been waiting patiently. I want to get chicken cone open because everyone wants chicken inside an ice cream cone. And again, they will make a great addition down at the Markham Development. Hey, is the Hub Development team here tonight? I think they are. There they are. I see them waving their hands in the background. That building has been an eyesore since I have been in Hamilton. And to be able to take that and turn it into this and what they're going to be doing with that, thank you. A great addition. Thank you very much. Another building that's been an eyesore for a very long time, when you look at some of the stuff, such as Immortal Vibes that'll be going in this coming year, I mean, if you would have told me we would have had a place selling vintage guitars, espresso, and spirits, which I just call liquor, but on Main Street, I wouldn't have believed you a couple years ago. I mean, and by the way, the person that's doing this, his wife owns Chubby Bunny Bakery, which you've not been to, is outstanding. But if it's that, again, it's that type of business that is feeding off each other that is creating these type of opportunities. So, does everyone recognize this photo here? Whoever ate at the old Fat Wally's? Oh, I see some hands. It was Lipson's Cafe for a while. It was a lot of things. But again, I mean, the investment that we're seeing in these buildings, and I call this a quiet investment because I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. But what's it called? Where's Aaron at? Is it Tequila Joe's? Tequila Harry's? What is he calling it? Tequila Harry's. I like it. We have vintage guitars, we have tequila. I mean, we have pinball machines. What more do you need in Hamilton, Ohio? You got chicken inside of a cone, for God's sakes. But what do we need? And on top of all that, we need people. So the focus on the residential in the downtown is critical because, again, a lot of downtowns that have died over the years is because you don't have the foot traffic on the street after 5 o'clock. Even if you have offices downtown, when people are leaving and they're not staying in the downtown, that creates that lack of interest in developing something downtown. So the 60 units that are going on Main Street, that's a big deal because that's going to put feet on the street and it's going to help people like Village Parlor Ice Cream. It's going to help Two Little Buds. It's going to help some of the businesses we just talked about, survive first and foremost, but also thrive. The former Ohio Casualty Complex, again, something that sat empty for a long time. If you've not been inside the building in the past 6 months, they have done a tremendous job on the upper 3 floors and converting that into residential space. They're excited. The ownership group out of Los Angeles is excited about Hamilton. They sat on it for almost 10 years before they put any significant investment into the building. But the investment it's been great. And someone was calling me tonight about apartments. We've got another exciting thing happening that I can't talk about right now, but it's bringing more people into Hamilton, and they're like, we can't get into the Markham, it's full. We can't get into the Mercantile, it's full. Where do we go? So we sent them over to take a look at 3rd and Dayton to see if they had any open available units there. Again, the 12 units that are put at the Davis building above the Village Parlor Ice Cream, again, it's just been great for injecting life at the intersection of Main and D Streets. All right, so this is the more serious part of the conversation tonight. We is greater than me. That is our 17-strong motto. But why? So I talked earlier about a lot of the friction that you see at the federal level today and what I call the upper levels of government. I remember in 2012 giving the State of the City address, and I quoted this Abraham Lincoln quote. You can say it's from the book of Matthew, which is where he took it from. But a house divided against itself cannot stand. And I remember the first 2 years I was in Hamilton, I was still so frustrated because I felt like as a city, as a community, we were not coming together where we needed to be yet. Today, I tell you, I don't sense that at all. I feel like the community leaders are on the same page. They all want the same thing. So I was reading through the book of Matthew, and I came across a different quote, a Bible verse, if you will, that I'm going to paraphrase, but it talks about building your house on sand versus building it on a foundation of rock. And that really struck me because we've had the opportunity to do different things. We've had a lot of pressure at the city council level. Again, I give city council tremendous credit. In the face of adversity, even Spooky Nook was that was a lot of adversity. People were, why is the city embracing this? Oh, we don't believe it's ever going to happen. There was many times city council could have said, you know what, we're just getting too much pressure. We're not going to go forward with this. They never did that. They saw the vision. They understood why that was such a catalytic project. They embraced it, and because of what's happening, what you see today, I mean, hopefully they were right. But the one thing that at a local level we don't have the luxury of is political expediency. It's easy to do things sometimes because the Facebook crowd's screaming, or because folks are screaming at you, you're doing the wrong thing. But they were looking at long-term sustainability versus short-term results, or the optics of doing something that makes people happy. Well, okay, we won't do that. Make people happy in the short term, but we will pay for it in the long term. And I give council so much credit for not doing that. As I like to say in our office, the currency of the realm is getting things done. That is the currency. That is what our people expect us to do. They don't want excuses. They want things getting done. And as I said earlier, you watch the higher levels of government, and I feel like all they want to do is feud anymore. It's very partisan, and it's just not about getting things done. It's almost posturing, while the city has maintained a laser focus on getting results. That is what we find to be the most important. As the mayor will tell you, we don't have the luxury of having ideological arguments. What we have to do is get results. I love this shirt I saw Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, wear, and it's very true. I mean, our residents, they don't care. Just work harder. Get us the results. We deserve the results, which I agree with. Stop talking about it. Get to work. All right, so what are we working on now? We had a strategic planning retreat with City Council in the last 30 days, and we came out of that retreat with one single focus, and that is our neighborhoods. And I want to stop here just for a second, because I think this is a very important thing to understand. For those of you that have ever read Jim Collins, Michael Porter from Harvard Business School, Porter always said that the hardest thing about strategy is saying no. You can say yes to everything, and you're not being strategic. And there's so many things that are deserving that you have to say no to, because you have to be strategic in a handful of key areas. Early on, the strategy was we had to bring Hamilton to a certain point where we could actually generate revenue, because we had to pay for basic services. So I've heard a lot of comments over the 10 years about, that's stupid, why is so much money being put into the Parks Conservancy? Why aren't you putting it here? Or why are you doing this? It was about creating an environment that businesses wanted to come, because our primary revenue stream is local income tax. We had to build the income tax base up. So that was really the focus. So now that we have stabilized our budget and we're a much more solid footing, again, back to the book of Matthew and building on rock versus sand, the neighborhoods, which we've heard a lot of people talking about, is going to get the focus, and that's going to be a heavy focus the next 10 years. These photos here, these are actual photos that we have taken out in the neighborhoods in the last 12 months. I do find that pig sort of cute, but it is against our ordinances. But when you look at some of the things that we're dealing with a lot of fires. A lot of the fires we have in Hamilton, our structure fires, are due to vacant buildings that people are getting into and lighting things on fire to stay warm at night, or just shenanigans. And the question we were asking at the strategic planning retreat is how? What strategies do you use? How do you get into the neighborhoods and improve the neighborhoods? So we created 17 Strong many years ago in the Department of Neighborhoods in the past year, solely with the knowledge that we were gearing towards this moment in our history where we were going to have enough resources and enough ability to focus on this as our primary issue. So again, we're building on a foundation of rock, not sand. 17 Strong has done a great job of going out and establishing committee work in all 17 neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods are stronger than others right now, but a lot of that work over the last couple of years has been performed to get us to this point where we're at today. And by the way, is Frank Downey here tonight? Oh, Frank Downey's 70th birthday tonight, and he's at the State of the City address. So that's Frank before, and that's Frank with his birthday hat on. But Frank, you're awesome. Thank you for being Hamilton's #1 volunteer. But so fighting blight in the neighborhoods. We're doing some survey work right now. I think we already know the answers, but we're out doing some survey work in the neighborhoods. Going into next year, City Council will be considering a budget that's going to be increasing funding for the following items: code enforcement, funds to not only remove or demolish houses, but also to create funds to maybe do some matching, but there are a lot of houses that we have seen in a lot of our historic neighborhoods, German Village, Dayton Lane, Lindenwald, that have great bones, that have great architectural appeal, but they've been abandoned for a while. They may not have even had utilities turned on for the last couple of years, but this gives us an opportunity maybe to come up with some unique ways to, instead of demolishing those properties, which cost money, but to do things to actually preserve some of these houses. Improving properties with our new side lot program. You may have seen that in the news, but for every side lot that the city can get rid of and get to someone that actually wants it and wants to maintain it, it saves us over $1,000 per side lot. That's money that we can pour back into basic services like police, fire, and streets. Holding vacant property owners accountable. You'll see a check mark under the commercial vacant property registration. That ordinance is done. It's on the books. We're already doing that. Residential vacant property registration and foreclosure registration, it has gone in front of the Ordinance Review Commission. Will be going in front of City Council shortly for their vote. You may have seen the cube parked out on streets. We have been doing so many neighborhood cleanups. The Department of Neighborhoods have come up with this idea of the cube, so we have the tools on hand so we can literally pull it up to a neighborhood block and have everything that we need to clean up that neighborhood. And the Department of Neighborhoods, they actually do work. I mean, at times, if there's something that's causing problems and there's just no way to get it fixed quickly, they will literally go into a neighborhood like they are in this photo here and just take care of it. With of course, with the property owner's permission, but it's a great thing because, you know, one house can bring an entire block down, and they recognize that. We all recognize that, and one at a time, we're going to get into these neighborhoods and we're going to start improving them. One of our core values of the city is owning the outcome, and you can see again the Department of Neighborhoods out in German Village doing work. The other thing, we're giving credit where credit's due. The Department of Neighborhoods came up with this idea, but so many times if you get a door hanger at your residence, something bad has happened. They wanted to give a door hanger for something good that's happening. So a lot of our city employees will go out on a Saturday when they're off work, and if they see a house that looks amazing like this one right here, they'll put a door hanger on and just basically say thank you for what you're doing to improve Hamilton. Increasing our focus and resources on neighborhood policing. Again, our police officers are under a lot of pressure, and they do some pretty amazing work. They were down at Grant Circle last night when we were having our neighborhood cookout, you know, helping set up, helping tear down, just generally helping out, answering questions of the residents of Grant Circle. But you'll see them walking in the neighborhoods, you'll see them on segways in the neighborhoods, you'll see them on bikes in the neighborhoods. But we need to increase that because once the residents know who our police officers are and they create a relationship with them, it becomes easier for our police officers to get information about, hey, this property here, you know, is not a good property or bad things are happening, but it gives them that information that they need. So, in summary, one last Bible verse just because I had the Bible out, but we talked about having to say no and yes to a few things, and it made me think about this last verse. Basically, again, it's either you have to be hot or you have to be cold. You can't be lukewarm. So when you think about strategy from that perspective, you have to say yes just to a few things. So what we're saying yes to in the next 10 years at our neighborhoods and everything that we talked about that will help improve our neighborhoods, but we have to be hot on it, meaning we can't be lukewarm. If we're going to support the police to get into the neighborhoods, we've got to support the police to get into those neighborhoods. We can't just dip our toe in the water and say, let's try this. So everything that you saw on those slides tonight, when council gets to 2021 draft budget, it's going to be hot on those items because we know that we have to improve the neighborhoods. Otherwise, all this other work that we've been trying to perform in Hamilton for the past 10 years or so has been for nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Well, he never disappoints, does he? Great leader for the city, and the Chamber is thrilled to work with he and his whole team, so thank you. Now we have a moment, and we have a few words from our presenting sponsor, which is Fort Hamilton Hospital. Ron Konovich is the president, another great partner with the community and with the Chamber. So with that, Ron.
Well, thank you. As Dan said, my name is Ron Konovich. I'm president of Fort Hamilton Hospital, and it is a privilege to be the presenting sponsor here tonight. We do have an amazing city and a community, don't we? When you see the things that are happening. Well, I want to share a few more of those things. I don't know if you have noticed, but about the western half of the United States is on fire. The Midwest had some record floods. The Gulf Coast has had numerous hurricanes. California has had record heat waves. And of course, we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. But they say crisis reveals true character. And I want to tell you what I have seen this year in our healthcare workers is true character. They have been amazing through this crisis. And as we look at what has been happening, I don't know if you know, but worldwide there's been about 7,000 healthcare workers that have died of COVID. In the United States, about 900 healthcare workers, a little over, have died of COVID. We are Kettering Health Network, and in our network, we've had over 1,400 employees that have been exposed and quarantined due to COVID and the jobs that they perform. 250 of those have contracted COVID in their normal course of work. But what is amazing to me is the character that has been revealed in healthcare workers. They do not shrink from what's in front of them. They get up every morning and say, how can I help? With those people that are out of work, that means more work for those that are working. And so the work is harder, the hours are longer, the pay isn't the best, I'll just be honest. But you know, they have stepped up, and so tonight, I want to just say thank you to the healthcare workers. And this is not just hospital. We have our paramedics, we have our physicians, nurses, we have our health department, we have nursing homes, skilled nursing facilities, everybody who has stepped up and really shown character through this crisis. Tonight, I want to ask if you're a part of any part of this healthcare system that you stand up just for a minute, because we want to tell you thank you. I know yes, thank you guys. Thank you. And we really mean it. You know, you can get up in the morning, you can say, and as you're going to work, you can say, is this the day I'm going to get COVID? Because it's part of my job? But no, they think, today, is this the day I get to help more people survive? It's amazing when you see this. And I'll just share with you that we've had physicians that have taken pay cuts voluntarily. We've had some physicians that have stepped up and said, you know, just hold my pay for a couple months period. I don't need to be paid. And they're working longer hours. So guys, I just first want to say thank you. It's a great community. You have wonderful healthcare workers all the way around, and we have a wonderful community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. For the next part of our program, I'm going to ask John Kirsch. He's on his way up here. We are about to recognize the Small Business Person of the Year, someone who everybody in Hamilton and the whole region knows. So we are very excited to be able to do that this year. And John Kirsch from Kirsch CPA was the recipient last year. If there are any former recipients in the audience, would you just please stand? We have a few here tonight. I see Sarah over here. I can't see too well, but there might be some others. So congratulations to you. So our recipient tonight joins a really honorable and accomplished group of people. So with that, I'm now going to turn it over to John Kirsch.
Thank you, Dan. Is Dave Stark still here? I want to know how Dan and Joshua got on the agenda here. I thought you had to be 6'8" to be on the agenda tonight. I don't know. Thank you all for being here tonight, for coming out on this beautiful fall evening in southwestern Ohio. Good to get out, right? And do so in a responsible manner. And thanks to Joshua for his 10 years of service to the city. Hard to believe it's been 10 years that he's been here. And I'm thrilled that in spite of these current circumstances that the team at the Chamber went ahead with this award. I think it's an important part of the small business community, so thanks to the team at the Chamber. We're here tonight to recognize the 2020 recipient of the Small Business Person of the Year, Thommy Long. Thommy is a graphic designer by trade, but he's being recognized tonight as a champion of the small business community and also as the creative force behind LemonGrenade Creative. Thommy is on a mission. His mission is this: to rid the earth of boring logos and mediocre brands. That's a pretty good, amazing swing at passion. And that passion began at an early age. At the ripe age of 8, Thommy watched his father draw and redraw the letter L as his father developed a logo for his business, Long's Handyman Services. And from that point forward, Thommy became obsessed with all things design. He knew what he wanted to be when he grew up. Now, I never had that problem because my team is still wondering when I'm going to grow up. But he went through high school taking every creative class that he could and even won a citywide design contest in 1993 by designing the logo for the Fairfield City School District, a logo that is still in use today. He graduated cum laude and second in his class from the Art Academy of Cincinnati in 1998, but his relationship with the Academy didn't stop there. He went on to become an adjunct professor in that school and taught in the Bachelor of Fine Arts programs and in community education classes for 7 years. For the next 15 years, Thommy developed his skills. He worked as a graphic designer, an art director, and eventually senior art director for various agencies in Cincinnati, and it was there that he discovered what great branding could do and the impact it could have on business. In 2014, Thommy had what we commonly describe as an entrepreneurial seizure. He looked around and said, you know what, I can do this better. It was time to follow in his father's footsteps, become his own boss, and start his own business. His model was a design studio for the masses, one that would be accessible, friendly, but most importantly, to Joshua's point, produce results. When Thommy started LemonGrenade out of his house, he was the only employee, but within 6 short months, he determined that he needed some help. So that's a pretty high-class problem to have. He knew it was time to find a new home for his business, and he quickly determined that downtown Hamilton was the place for LemonGrenade. Thommy has always invested in the community and the success of the community. He's been a proud member of the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce Executive Committee and also served on the Alive After 5 board. He was also a graduating member of Leadership Hamilton, class number 28. He also participates in art education programs and takes on students at LemonGrenade where they are allowed to shadow him, and they actually do a mock design project. So that brings us to the present. At the beginning of the pandemic, Thommy recognized that many businesses in the area were starting to retrench and actually reduce the spend and the attention they were spending on marketing. He recognized that this was going to make these folks invisible in the marketplace. So he and his team started what they created and called the LemonAid program, where they offered free social media graphics to local businesses to help them promote themselves. This program became so popular that they served at no cost 37 businesses, developed over 100 ads, and donated 100 hours of design time to local businesses. Thommy has had the privilege of serving the branding and marketing needs for countless local businesses, but also has worked with some national brands such as Johns Hopkins, Vanderbilt University, Astellas Pharma, and Easter Seals. Most recently, he added 2 clients in Hawaii. You will see some of LemonGrenade's fine work at his favorite client, Kerr CPA Group. They were instrumental in doing work in our new offices. Thommy has been married to Kelly, his partner in crime, for 15 years, and they share a love of vintage toys, He-Man and Strawberry Shortcake, respectively. They have 2 sons together, Julian and Griffin, ages 14 and 11, and they also have 2 daughters, but the daughters are of the 4-legged variety. If you've been over to Municipal Brew Works, you may have seen the head of security there, Ray, if I got the name right, Ray, and Hannah, the chief marketing officer. So I'm thrilled to pass the baton to a true stellar member of the small business community here in Hamilton. Please help me welcome and recognize Thommy Long. So I'm going to be careful here. This is a plaque that I received, one of these, that is done by the studio here in Hamilton, Inside Out Studios. Very nice. Thank you. I'll wrap that back up for you. I'll hand this back. Okay.
Thank you, John, for those kind words. When Dan Bates came to LemonGrenade a few weeks ago and told me that he wanted to talk about the 2020 Small Business Person of the Year, I immediately went to design mode. So I grabbed my notebook and I grabbed my pen and was ready to take notes. So I was assuming that we would be designing, wayfinding and banners and things like that. And so my first question to Dan was, well, who won this year? And with a smile, he said, well, it's you this year. So that was kind of a shock. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Dan, and everyone on the committee that voted for me. And thanks for my team for nominating me. After I found out I won, I went to tell them, and they just kind of laughed and said, well, you can thank us because we've been nominating you every year. So I appreciate my team for doing that. I could easily go around the alley here and talk about 100 different people down here that it has helped contribute to the LemonGrenade story. But it's getting cold and rainy. In order to keep this speech short, I just want to kind of concentrate on my family over here. I wanted to thank my mom and dad who are sitting right there. During my whole young life, my professional life, I was told by guidance counselors and some teachers and neighbors and sometimes even and distant relatives that what's Thommy going to fall back on? What exactly is he going to do with an art degree? How are you going to support a family with an art degree? And my parents always had my back and always argued and said he doesn't need anything to fall back on. He's going to make it, and he's going to do well in the arts world. And I've always appreciated for them giving me the confidence and the support to follow my dream. So thank you, Mom and Dad. On a quick note, I found out early today that my high school art teacher, my very first mentor, Julie Stout, I don't know where she's at, she's around here somewhere, but I wanted to thank her for supporting me in high school and really getting on me about, making sure my portfolio was good and making sure that I had all the requirements for applications for college and always encouraged me to enter design contests. And that's when from her advice, that's when I entered that contest in high school and won, and really made it easy for me to decide to go into art. I would like to, next thank my wife Kelly. Around 2011, I had been at the same job for about 10 years, and it was a very, very comfy salary job. I had lots of paid vacation. I had lots of great benefits, and I really wanted to, once again, follow my father's footsteps and start my own thing. And I was very nervous approaching her about leaving this great comfy job to do my own thing. So I was expecting a little bit of pushback of, let's wait until after the holidays when you get your Christmas bonus, or let's wait until, you get a raise next year, or why don't you try freelancing for a little bit. But being the great partner and supporter she is, she said, you got this, do it. I know you'll make it, and if you don't make it, you'll find another job right away. So thank you, Kelly, for letting me do this. Yeah, thank you. The next little group over here is my in-laws, Paul and Linda. From the beginning of LemonGrenade, they've always volunteered to babysit my boy so I could work crazy long hours to try to get new clients. Or if I had to go out of town, they were always there. During the very first day of moving into the Robinson Swim Building, right across the alley here, they had paintbrushes painting obnoxious yellow walls and helping me there. And every Alive After 5 meeting or events, they're there to help, and so I can go around and do what I need to do there. Paul actually, like my father, has owned and managed many businesses. So he's always helped me give advice about business decisions, and usually it's over a few pints at Municipal Brew Works or N2 around the corner. But thank you, Paul and Linda, for that. The next I would like to thank is my two boys here, Julian and Griffin. For always being my biggest fans. They have LemonGrenade stickers on their backpacks. They're usually rocking their LemonGrenade socks. But it's not just that. It's the little conversations that I hear with their friends when they don't know that I'm listening. We'll be in the car, or I'm in the garage and they're talking to their friends. And my dad designed that logo here, or check out this cool drawing my dad did last night. So I love you guys very much, and thanks for always supporting me. The last group I'd like to thank, and there are a few of them are represented here, is my wonderful team at LemonGrenade. I was told by past mentors early in my career that you should always hire people that are better than you. I do truly believe out of my 22 years of doing this, being in this industry, that I'm currently working with the most talented, most professional group of creative people that I've ever worked with, and I do mean that. And I do have to give myself a little bit of credit because I handpicked them all, but super talented group. So my role in LemonGrenade is in the last few years has really shifted from being in the trenches to be more that head coach kind of position where, you know, I'm coming up with the plays and I'm coming up with strategies, but it's these guys right here that are really making, they're the stars of the team and really making everything happen. So I think that's it. Thanks everyone for listening to me talk, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
We actually have one more little award for Thommy. You know, he works so well with so many community partners, and Inside Out Studios made his award tonight, but they also made a special award just for you. You can open it now.
I guess I'll open it now.
Might as well.
Oh, wow. It's my own LemonGrenade. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, what a great community that we live in. You're hearing so much tonight about collaboration and community partners, and you know, we are thrilled to be able to work with so many great people and great leaders. Next on the agenda, you're going to hear from our community sponsor tonight, which is Thommy. Thommy has been a great community partner for so many businesses and individuals here in Hamilton. And so I'd like to call to the podium Jamie Bella, who's the Regional Sales Manager, and Mitch Vokey, the Commercial Relationship Manager.
Well, hello and good evening. Mitch and I are so honored to be here this evening, and we'd like to start off by congratulating Thommy Long, Small Business Person of the Year. Well deserved. Congratulations. The State of the City address is always a wonderful opportunity. Thank you. Look, partner in crime here. The State of the City address is always a wonderful opportunity for us to reflect on just how far this community has come, but also how far we wish to continue to go. And so tonight, as representatives of Thommy Credit Union, we wish to do the same for you. Our partnership with the city and the Hamilton Chamber has continued to progress and strengthen through this year. Throughout 2020, every single one of us have faced challenges that we have never encountered before. And so through that, we have become stronger, more resilient, and more determined than ever. As an organization, Thommy is based off of our foundation is 3 core values, and those core values are caring, commitment, and integrity. Through these values, we not only uphold our fiduciary responsibility to our membership, but our personal investment into the communities that we serve. Our mission is to empower and uniquely impact small business owners, residents, and community members of the communities that we serve. This year, we have collaborated with various organizations, many of which are amongst us this evening, so we were able to see all of you. But we've partnered with HYPE, CHIPS, Plan Hamilton, Vision Commission, Leadership Hamilton, the Fitness Center. We could continue on and on and on, but these organizations within this community, their core values are really what drives their collaboration and dedication to this community, and we are honored to be a part of that.
So as bankers, we typically would talk about numbers, and so I have to go ahead and talk about some numbers with you, but I think financial institutions often talk about their strength and resilience through their financial impact. And one of the great things about Ohio is that we like seeing our strength and resilience through putting people over profit and commitment to serving the underserved. So year to date, I'm very proud of the fact that we've been able to use small business financing and inject over $22 million into our local market. Also, on top of just small business financing, we've been able to help our local residents through home loans, auto loans, and equity loans of over $30 million. Next year, we're very excited to bring to you some information about a commitment that we've made to our city. Ohio Credit Union recently was designated a Community Development Financial Institution, also known as a CDFI. This designation allows us to deliver affordable lending and focus primarily on consumer and small business development efforts within working class communities. We look forward to sharing with you the development of our CDFI projects in the coming months, as well as our continued service and dedication to organizations that we admire.
So we want to say thank you for the time tonight, Mayor Moeller, City Manager Joshua Smith, Dan Bates. Your dedication and unwavering leadership within this city is just something that is remarkable and outstanding, and we look forward to continuing to serve by your side for many years to come.
I might add, Jamie and Mitch are also graduates of Leadership Hamilton, so very proud of that. Next, we're all waiting to hear from our mayor, Pat Moeller. You know, Pat Moeller just amazes me because everywhere I go, he has just been there. So, you know, I don't know how he does what he does, but Pat is the most visible mayor I've ever seen, and he is just so involved in the community, and we are so fortunate to have him. So with that, our mayor, Pat Moeller.
Well, good evening. I'm going to call this 10 minutes with the mayor. And that sounds like an awful Zoom date or something like that. But before I get started, how about a great round of applause again for our city manager of 10 years, Joshua Smith, and Thommy Long. So I'm at a Hamilton Dream Center fundraiser last week, and I meet a young lady named Sarah at my table who's proudly telling me about her wedding coming up in October 2020. Her bachelorette party was at Main Street's Fretboard Public House and the Benninghoffen home, both obviously in Hamilton. Her rehearsal dinner will be at German Village's Bill Wilkes Carriage House, with a taco bar provided by Allen's Market from our East End. Her wedding will be at the Benison in downtown Hamilton, with decorations by Main Street Petals and Wicks and Gray the Florist on Route 4. The wedding ceremony will be conducted by Hamilton pastor Wendell Koning of the Hamilton Dream Center. Congratulations, Sarah Gabbard and James Meyer, on your wedding, your all-Hamilton wedding. And thank you for making it Hamilton. Now, I'm going to try and operate this if I can. Welcome, Seika Group, making things in Hamilton. Welcome, Hub on Main LLC, making fun in Hamilton. And welcome, Smoochies, making great strawberry crepes in Hamilton. Oops, I got to go back a second. Okay, congratulations, Hamilton Castor, for your expansion in our city, and congratulations, Self, for moving your life skills support services to a more citizen-accessible location. And we've got to talk about COVID, curse you, coronavirus. I can think of a lot more words than just curse, but we'll stay with that. Thank God for our first responders, our healthcare personnel, and essential workers during COVID, but I'm also thankful for Markham Park, Dora Cups, Carry Out, and 80 Acres Farms Fireworks Tomatoes, which I bought a lot of during COVID. As local artists painted on these garage walls that have already been mentioned, everything's going to be all right because we took care of each other and displayed unity. Our small businesses sure helped each other, and the examples, Pinball Garage, helping out the Allman Sisters, and Small Business Person of the Year, Thommy Long, helping out everybody. And Thommy, you probably can't see this, but I'm wearing my yellow LemonGrenade socks. So, and thank you for those. Talking about taking care, many citizens, and many not even involved in historic preservation, say that we have to preserve the CSX train station, which essentially is Hamilton's only monument to President Abraham Lincoln and President Harry S. Truman, as they spoke very positively about Hamilton from trains that were at that station. In the city of Hamilton, we are proud of our city departments working together, being on the same page and at the same table. An example would be the Hamilton Fire Department and Gas Department. When a 911 dispatches the Hamilton Fire Department to a location which has a gas odor, the active 911 app contacts our gas department with the gas odor address and the fire company that's responding. The gas gets shut off quickly by the city gas department, which results in a quicker containment of the gas problem and increased safety for our citizens and, of course, our city team. We thank the Hamilton Police Department and, as mentioned, the Department of Neighborhoods, both of whom partner and collaborate with so many agencies, boards, and volunteer groups. And I have to say, it makes no sense, and it would do harm to our city if we ever did redistribute our resources from our police department to any other department, or if we abolished our police department. We are neighborhood focused in Hamilton. I have also gone to 4 neighborhood meetings within the last week, as did our police officers, as did our great city manager, Joshua Smith, our vice mayor, Eric Pullman, and our other council members, Michael Ryan, Carla Fear, Tim Knabb, Robert Brown, and Susan Vaughn. And how about a round of applause for our city council who's worked very, very hard this year. I spoke at one of those particular neighborhood meetings with the community leader, Pastor Aaron Simpson of Jefferson Neighborhood. And we talked about some social issues. And he simply stated that you can give a jobless person who may be homeless a slice of pizza. And that would be a good thing, obviously. But if you give that same person a birth certificate, he can get a state ID, and then with a state ID, apply for and hopefully get a job. Think about that domino effect for a moment, because jobs will cure a lot of what ails us. And also think about the statement, young lives do matter. A vast majority of firearm-related crime victims in all demographics are under 30 years of age, with a tragic, disturbing number of victims under the age of 20. And as you may have seen the headline on the Enquirer, Cincinnati is hurtling towards a record number of homicides. We have to do something to change life pathways. And Hamilton has established the CHIPS program, which creates real-life job experience for those aged 16 to 30, which also creates a path towards a more diverse work community in our city. And I thank those of you here who have joined CHIPS by creating internships at your company. And I ask those who have not created internships to consider doing that. Also, there's youth intervention programs to assist our youth, such as HYPE, as well as supporting victim witness advocacy programs to assist in prosecution is also very important to get to the roots of the violence. But we have to do something. And as the city manager has shown us the last 10 years, we need to turn words into action. We just need to do. Let me introduce you to two young men who are proud residents of Hamilton. On the left, you see Dion Otis. He led us in creating city council legislation, which officially recognized Juneteenth in the city of Hamilton. And he's holding his ordinance there with both his mother and his father. The gentleman on your right, the young man on your right is named Xavier, and he helps market our downtown area as well as Markham Park simply by just being himself. And Tano's restaurant gave him a chef's coat which has the name Xavier on it. So we do thank Tano's and Tyler for what they do for our city. A lot of thanks tonight. Thank you to the Economic Development Department and Planning Department for a very productive year in job creation, job retention, and neighborhood improvement. And congratulations to our residents from our traditional neighborhoods who have asked for empty side lots next to their homes to be conveyed to them in order to improve their quality of life, create positive visuals, as well as while lessening the city expense on those lots. And that was gone into a lot by our city manager. I hope the city continues to be innovative in putting non-strategic empty lots, side lots, into the hands of homeowners, and that even that we can possibly create a situation where there's future homeowners on appropriately sized empty side lots. Give them the lot. If they can secure financing and build the house and live there for at least 5 years, I think that would be a very good investment. Other thanks to our Hamilton Streets Levy Committee. Thank you for your dedication and for your vision. The city now needs to carry out the street levy promises of utilizing citizen input as well as city accountability. I thank you, Hamilton Charter Review Commission, for your time and commitment in reviewing our city charter. We need to educate ourselves on those charter amendments and vote as we think is correct. We've got a Veterans Hall of Fame coming up this year, and thank you, Veterans Hall of Fame Committee, for recognizing veterans from our Hamilton community. And there is the list of some of this year's inductees for the event on November 8th, 2020. You know, we had so many good folks who passed away recently who helped make Hamilton, philanthropists and business people such as Joe and Sarah Markham and Bill Hartford, educators and school volunteers such as Tom Alf and Gil Kabakugan, veterans such as Philip Alexander and Russell Carr, public servants such as Joyce Thal and Mark Murray. As they did in their lives, may we keep making it in Hamilton. Finally, that's my dog, Happy Gilmore Moeller, and he talks to me sometimes. He says this, he says, "God bless America and God bless Spooky Nook." Thank you very much. Hope you've had a great evening this evening, and thank you for a great year.
Thank you, Pat. In wrapping up, I would like to once again thank our presenting sponsor, Fort Hamilton Hospital, and our community sponsor, Ohio Credit Union. Thank you. We also want to thank the Chamber's Centennial Sustaining sponsors, Barclays, Butler Tech, City of Hamilton, First Financial Bank, Fort Hamilton Hospital, Mercy Health Fairfield Hospital, Ohio Credit Union, U.S. Bank, and our newest sustaining sponsor from Louisville, Kentucky, and they are in attendance tonight, your seven-figure business coach. So thank you all. Have a great evening. The bar is still open, and safe journey home. And next year, mark your calendar for Thursday, October 7th for State of the City 2021. Thank you. Have a good evening.